as he takes on Carlos Morales. All right, Paulie, let's get right to the tell of the tape. Walk us through the numbers.
Well, this is actually an exciting fight, a little bit of a crossroads battle between two guys with pretty good records early in their career. So these kind of fights are always exciting. But neither guy's made a lot of money yet, but they're both hungry to get somewhere, and their records both show that they have some potential. Both guys close in age. Guevara 27, Morales 25. Morales with a clear height advantage at 5'9" to Guevara's 5'6". So we'll see if he can make that count for him, especially with the reach at 5 inches, from 70 inches to 65 inches. So look for Guevara to try to possibly use that reach and height advantage and keep Morales and keep Guevara on the outside.
Good look here at the Velasco Theater in downtown L.A. As you can see, both fighters are in the ring. Let's get the official introduction. Here's the one and only Joe Martinez.
Well, fans, we are set to go. Bout is scheduled for 6 rounds in the super featherweight division. Introducing you first, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing silver trunks trimmed in red, he weighed in officially 131 pounds. As a professional in 10 bouts, his record stands at 6 victories, 1 defeat, 3 draws, and 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Los Angeles, California, here is the solution, Carlos Morales. And next his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing blue trunks trimmed in black and yellow, he weighed in also 131 pounds. In 8 professional bouts, his record stands perfect with 8 victories, including 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Also hailing from Los Angeles, California, here is the undefeated Santiago, El Lobito Guevara. Referee in charge of the action is Thomas Taylor.
Boxer chief second, everyone else out. Boxer chief second. Love. Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. All right, guys, gave your instructions in the dressing room. Mind yourself, protect yourselves at all times. Listen to my commands, touch them up, back to your corner. Good. Very good. That's good. Mark.
Well, Santiago Guevara says this will be the toughest fight of his career, but he needs to win. He said to prove to himself he belongs on this level, and more importantly, to take that next step to the national stage. Carlos Morales, he started his career with a loss, 3 straight draws, but he's now on a 8-fight win streak, unbeaten against undefeated opponents. Here we go. It's round 1. Morales starts in those silver trunks with the red trim. Guevara in the blue trunks.
A lot of managers are not fans of making these type of crossroad fights early in these fighters' careers. When guys seem promising, they both have good records, you figure, let's match them up later on. But credit to both these guys and their management teams for putting them in so early. It's a risk, and it's entertaining for guys like us. But for them, it's a big risk. But usually you get good fights out of this.
And Paulie, Golden Boy has been pretty consistent with matching fighters tough pretty early, too, which makes it really exciting for the fans. And it benefits the fighters if they're able to get through and be successful.
Of course, because you know what? You're not living a lie. You're going to see if you're the real deal or not, and your developmental stages will become even better because you'll be ready for that high level when you get there.
Well, as you can see, Morales certainly has the reach, has the height advantage. And he says he wants to use that in this fight. He wants to keep Guevara on the outside. Guevara loves to fight on the inside.
Our main event fighter, Joseph Diaz, actually was talking about Morales, and he sparred him, and he said, he's not bad. He's got his hands are kind of heavy too, so Guevara's got to be careful with that.
You saw the right hand by Morales. He followed it up with a left to the body.
40 arm.
We're scheduled for 6. We're halfway through round 1.
Set. No punch. Straight back. Box.
Not too much of a feeling out round for these fighters. Both fighters obviously recognizing the 6 rounds and really wanting to start off the show.
Yeah.
On a high note.
Morales, even with the height advantage, is being very busy, right, Mario?
Yes, he is.
See Guevara with a right to the body. Here's another 1-2 by Guevara. Left hand, Guevara.
Go the arms, guys. Work out of it. Hands are free. And go the arm.
Morales in our fighter meeting very confident with his fight. Said these two have known each other from the amateurs, even though they never got an opportunity to fight each other.
Paulie, when you've sparred many rounds with a fighter and eventually fight him in the ring for the real deal, does it ease off some of the pressure or actually put more pressure because you're concerned whether he's familiar with you too much?
It depends on how the sparrings went, I think, a lot of times. You know, if you were getting the better of the guy, I think it's more confidence. If the guy was getting the better of you in the sparring, I think maybe they can create a little bit of the doubt later on when you're going to fight for the real thing.
Top of the belt, gentlemen.
Couple of 1-2s and combinations by Morales. And a right hand by Guevara at the end of the round.
There's the action for some pretty good action at the end of that first round. Morales controlled a lot of it, but Guevara answered at the belt. It's a pretty good shot. Morales a little bit off balance, but also a pretty good shot by Guevara.
Well, Guevara got inside of him. He's talked about that at our fighter meetings, getting inside. He felt like he fight guys with that longer reach. They do not like fighting guys who want to stay on the inside.
Yeah, and that's got to be the key for Guevara. He's got to stay inside and keep working Morales. Because as you can see with the style of Morales, even in his stance, he's looking to work off that jab and set Guevara off that long reach that he's got an advantage over him.
I think Guevara, with that last combination, did enough to win that round.
Stop.
So he clashed
Clash of heads.
Mark, I got a cut from a headbutt.
I hate to say that. I hate to see that.
Time.
See if there's any blood.
Yeah, there's some blood from Morales right above the right eye, I believe it is. Pretty good gash, too.
Take another look, Paulie.
Quick look at the replay. You see Guevara lunge right in. Oh, yeah, that was a good headbutt. Oh.
Right on the top of the head.
Morales kind of lured him in by missing the hook and then pulled him in, but, you know, certainly accidental.
Yeah.
Stay right here.
And the ref's going to let it continue.
Look at yours.
And the cut man's going to have his work.
Okay. All right, so I got to stay here. Accidental cut by a headbutt. I'm sorry, it's by a headbutt. All right. Ready? Time in. Fox.
See how it affects the rest of the fight, too. See how it affects the vision of Morales.
See if Morales comes out with more of a sense of urgency. It usually happens when a guy senses the blood, and here we go.
Even Guevara, when he sees the opponent bleeding, you know, he can get that killer instinct going.
Mm-hmm. Right, which has a little hop in his step already. Caught a nice little left hook on that eye, but it's managing to hold up and not bleed for the worst at the moment.
You just want to get out of the round at this point and just let the cut man work on it. Good amount of blood coming down.
Yeah, blood now coming down from that right eye.
Guevara, the southpaw stance now.
Stop, no punch.
And he's been switching up from southpaw back and forth a couple times.
There he goes right there. Switched again. So back to right-handed.
He connects with the right hand, gets out. As Morales tries to keep him on the outside. There's a left to the body by Morales.
Morales needs to be pumping that jab out, letting his hands go a little bit just to keep Guevara off that right eye.
Yeah, he's pawing with it. He seems like a lot of times when a guy's pawing, he's trying to set a trap by making you try to react to the pawing jab. But you'd like to see him snap out a little bit more often as well. It's good to mix that up a little bit.
It's interesting, you know, Morales started his career 0-1-3, and then all of a sudden he's gone on this tremendous win streak. But he said he had a wholesale change a couple of years ago, changed trainers, changed his manager. He's now sparring and working out of Daniel Ponce de Leon's gym. There's a good punch.
Stop. You're good. Go.
But he says he's getting a lot better sparring, Morales, now out at Ponce de Leon's gym. Even sparred with Jojo Diaz, he said, for this fight.
Well, you may be getting better sparring, but it's hard to train for cuts and moments like this until you're actually in them.
And nobody ever wants to be in them. Well, you never
right, exactly.
Stop at the belt, gentlemen. Fox.
Guevara back southpaw as the round comes to an end.
There's round 2. Speaking of Jojo Diaz, he's standing now. Of course, Jojo Diaz will be in our main event. Carlos Morales and Santiago Guevara. Morales in those silver trunks, the red trim. Got a nasty cut. They spent the entire round just tending to that cut on Morales' right eye and suffered that cut in the first round off accidental headbutt.
And meanwhile, another round of the bank for Guevara. Let's see if he can take advantage of that eye.
The problem with Morales, a lot of times he's in a set stance. He does some nice work, but then he starts leaning in on the inside. He gets his work done, and he kind of lays inside, and Guevara's able to answer him. When you got that height, see, like you are here, you just want to move your way in, but also you want to have your escape route set up, because you want to keep the guy on the outside.
And when he does lunge in, that's when he happened to get caught. That's a nice combination.
Nice combination. You see how he was leaning in after it.
Right.
He didn't pay for it there because the combination landed nicely, so back Guevara off. But you want to have the escape route set up after you throw that combination. You don't want to lean in, especially if you have the height advantage.
Guevara told us game plan. Punching in this fight.
Stop. No punch.
Just bring it to him. And Guevara says things really changed for him about a year ago when he had his baby girl. Became a different fighter. A lot more focused.
Well, nothing will inspire you in your life than a newborn. Help you keep your priorities in check and get you focused. He seems to be fighting like that tonight. Very spirited.
Again, a left to the body came, followed up with a right to Morales.
Come on, guys, work out of it. Work out of it. Let go of his arm.
Came from admiring his work. We used to call that taking pictures. You just pose after you throw the combination. He's paying for it a lot of times. Even if Morales does throw a good combination here and there, he's paying for it afterwards. There he got out. That's what you want to see.
And again, Paulie, switching from southpaw back and forth, having mild success.
Yeah, he's been able to connect from both stances. It's not really like anything really technical because it's more of a hustle type of fight that he's fighting, So whether it's from a southpaw or a right-handed stance, he's just trying to work his way inside and move his hands.
And if you're able to outwork, then you're able to steal those rounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, the corner seems to have done a pretty good job on that eye. It's holding up and not getting worse.
30 seconds left here in round 3. We're scheduled for 6. Another body shot by Guevara.
Nice body work by Guevara.
Stop. No punch. Stop. Guys, both keep the punches up, right? Stop. Stop for the bell, gentlemen.
When we come back, round 4.
Time! Right here.
Welcome back. You're watching the LA Fight Club here on Fox Sports 1. Santiago Guevara taking on Carlos Morales. This is round 4. We're scheduled for 6.
It being a 6-round fight, Morales is getting into desperate territory here. Now the numbers so far, Guevara has landed at a pretty good clip. Morales has been throwing a lot more punches, but Guevara's punches seem to have been more effective as of late, and obviously the headbutt doesn't count.
Well, Guevara, and he kind of talked about this probably in our meeting. It was almost like this fight for him was a prove to himself type of fight. He said, I need to prove that I belong in this level, and I need a win tonight to really take a step up to that next stage.
Yeah, Morales is a capable guy. You almost wouldn't think of him that he started his career at 0-1 and 3. The way he fights. He fights a very confident style. And Guevara's been trying to out-hustle him. It's been back and forth.
And those early losses, much like those seasoned veterans you see now, like an Orlando Salido, can really benefit you in the long run.
Well, yeah, you never want to take them, but sometimes you have no choice, and sometimes it ends up being a happy ending.
Yeah, you're able to grow from them.
Let's go.
Morales connected with a right hand, also followed up with an uppercut.
Yeah, if Morales can start dictating the height a little more, he'll really start to nullify Guevara's hustle style. Because at times Morales throughout this fight is landing some good shots, but then he's laid in there and Guevara just hustling. See, there goes Guevara just hustling on the inside.
Morales started out very busy in this round, letting his hands go. But you're right, he lets them bull his way inside.
Yeah, because inside his frame is not really made to be inside with a guy like Guevara. Guevara kind of makes himself even smaller. He gets inside, and being small inside helps because you don't need a lot of room to punch.
Right hand by Morales.
Morales sets up some good leverage with those shots on the outside. You have to fall in like that.
Yeah.
Guevara hustle.
Guevara certainly made him pay with a left hook. Here comes Morales with a right hand.
So he does get some good leverage on them when he sets that distance correctly. Does Morales.
We got 30 seconds here left in round 4.
Morales had that jab going for a minute and had a couple combinations. He was ready to go, but needs to be a lot busier if he wants to win these last couple of rounds.
Guys, hands are free. Stop at the bell, gentlemen.
Good action in that last round. We're talking about the leverage Morales gets. When he's able to set that distance, he's able to land some good shots. But it all depends on the distance he sets up. Because at too close, it's Guevara who gets the hustle work done. The hardest shots, I feel like, all landed by Morales is he landing enough of them? Is he keeping the fight on the outside enough for those shots to count and win him rounds? That's the question of the fight.
For me, it's a little few and far between. But and that was the best round of the fight for Morales, the last round. So if he's able to really step up these next two, then it could get interesting.
He's been using the jab here. He went upstairs and went downstairs with the jab.
Let go of the arm. Stop. Right. Let go of that arm. Fuck.
Guevara has never gone 5 rounds. This is new territory for him.
Guevara cut the ring down. Force Morales to stop. He can do that more consistently.
Morales has gone 6 rounds just once.
So conditioning is obviously going to be a factor here for Guevara, but he still seems to have a lot of pep in his step.
Misses with the right hook. Here's an uppercut by Morales.
Nice combination by Morales. Not going back on his stick, though. Not popping that jab.
And Morales seems to have the better technical abilities. He just kind of sleeps on them sometimes.
That's the irony in this bout. You're right.
Yeah. And in spots, he's let Guevara hustle because of that.
Here's a right hand. Guevara. And Morales comes back with a right hand of his own. Follows it up with some combinations.
Get him up. Get him up.
Left to the body by Guevara.
Morales landing some big right hands. Being really busy in there. But Guevara, again, and Paulie, to your point, sometimes just being the busier fighter and letting your hands go will go a lot more than will go a lot further than the technique.
Yeah, and of course, it's going to depend on what the judges like to see in this fight, really. Because I feel like a lot of the punches that counted were landed by Morales, but a lot of the blunt of bigger work has been done by Guevara with that hustle work inside and just moving his hands. See, there's an example of it right there.
There's a left hook, Guevara.
I feel like Guevara doesn't get as much leverage on his shots, but a lot of time he's busier.
Right, and Morales tries to answer. Nice counter punch.
That was set up nicely. He pulled it out with the jab and stepped back into the uppercut on Guevara step in.
Good body work by both guys. Now it's getting really interesting. Good fight to kick off the fight.
Yeah, good 5th round. All action 5th round here. Carlos Morales, Santiago Guevara.
Stop at the bell, gentlemen. Stop. Right. Straight back. Stop at the bell. Box.
Guevara's undefeated.
Time.
Tough round to call.
Stop, guys.
Well, this broadcast of Golden Boy on Fox is brought to you by Corona Extra La Cerveza Más Fina. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. And Mexico. Live it to believe it.
Muy bien, así es. strong, gentlemen. Keep it clean.
Here we go. Round 6, final round. Guevara comes right after Morales.
This could be a very, very close fight, like Carl was saying earlier. It could come down to this round. So both fighters really want to close out.
It's certainly been competitive.
And you're right, interesting, because Morales has been impressive in spots, but hasn't been enough.
Body shot by Guevara.
Stop. No punch, no punch.
That's really what you want to do right there. Morales just smother the work, cause a clinch inside, and then take the fight back to the outside. Don't allow Guevara to hustle inside. If you're not going to do anything inside, don't allow him to work you either.
It seems like just now he's gotten that game plan.
Morales pounds the guard,
nice
and he comes through with a right hand. Right to the body, and in a left hook by Morales.
I like to see Morales snap the jab a little more, though. I understand at times of pawing, he's setting up other shots, but sometimes just snap it out, man. It's not always about landing the perfect shot either.
Morales does have the right idea by letting his hands on and being busier in this round.
And he hooks around with the right hand all the time, which I don't mind, but at times you got to throw that right hand straight. It also maintains your distance, which is what you want if you're fighting a shorter guy.
Yeah, and you keep him honest by mixing it up. Exactly.
Straight back.
Halfway through the 6th and final round. Right hand Morales.
Guys, hands are free.
Morales has gone home for that right hand the last few rounds of this fight. But again, there comes Guevara answering back with combinations to the body.
Short left by Morales, follows it up by a right. Body work now by Guevara.
Let go of the arm, guys. Let go of the arm.
We are under a minute here in the last round.
Well, the eye did not completely betray him. He was able to complete the fight thus far.
Hey, good work in the corner by the company.
Let's see if Morales did enough to win this round, or even possibly.
Stop. No punch, guys. Straight back.
He's having himself a good round, I think. But there's still 20 seconds left.
Fought this round very poised, and
I feel like if he would use the jab and snap out more, he would be able to hold his distance better.
As opposed to just split.
Guys steal that distance from him because he's not using the jab a lot of times.
And that's the fight.
Good job, guys.
It's going to be close. Probably Morales' best round, too.
Seems like you guys said that in the past couple of rounds with Morales. Yeah, so really.
Yeah. Competitive. I think it's going to come down to that first round. I feel like the early parts were Guevara, the second part was Morales, but I feel like that first round was up in the air. Guevara landed a good shot at the end of it, but I felt like Morales did some good boxing in spots in that first round. I feel like that first round is going to be pivotal.
And I also feel the way the judges just view fights in general, if one favors more the aggressor or one more accurate punching, is going to come down to play.
Well, next week, the Big East basketball tournament returns to the Madison Square Garden to see who will be crowned a champion and earn an automatic invite to that big dance. Big East tournament presented by New York Live. It begins Wednesday, and the only place to see it is right here, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Here's a little recap of the fight. Here's a shot at the end of the first round that Guevara landed at the bell, kind of take something with you. Now, Guevara at times, was trying to hustle, but there's the clash of heads in round 2, which coincidentally really didn't affect the fight in any way. Both guys were able to still fight their fight. Guevara continued to try to hustle the rest of that round. Here in the third round, you'd like to see Morales use that jab and maintain that distance, but when he didn't, Guevara was able to get inside and hustle and do a lot of good work inside. As we got to the fourth round, Morales started to set his distance a little bit better and was able to land some good shots from the outside, and that's kind of what you were looking for him to do the whole time. There's a good sharp right hand after taking one, actually. But starting to really set his traps nicely from the outside, and landed, I felt like the harder, sharper shots. So we'll see, because it's a tale of two fights from the early to the end.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Based on those highlights, it really was a tale of two halves. So, hey, the draw's not out of the question either.
Yep.
Pretty even with the punch stats as well. Guevara technically landing more. Percentage about equal. It's a close fight, gentlemen. Let's kick off this card.
Well, let's find out who won this fight. The judge's official decision is in. Here's Joe Martinez.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards, and here are the totals. Judge Carla Cai scores it even, 57-57. Judge Barry Truxman, 59-55. And Zach Young, 58-56. Your winner by majority decision, Carlos
Wow, so how about that? Carlos Morales.
Wow, well,
Gives Santiago Guevara his first loss.
Yeah. Yeah, and a very tough loss, a very close loss. I just leaned over to Paulie and said, I think Morales has this. But at the same time, one judge saw completely different.
Yeah,
Paulie?
Was it 59-55 one judge?
Yeah,
it was
57-57, 58-56.
I guess on the 59-55 card, it wasn't very close. But 58-56, 57-57, I feel like that's kind of where the fight was teetering on, you know?
Well, we are just getting started here at the LA Fight Club on Fox Sports 1.